A different video, but a welcome change nonetheless. Diablo 2, The Sick Slaying of Rogues, and the Den of Evil. Diablo lore by Dark Lord Dash.
I am Akara, High Priestess of the Sisterhood of the Sightless Eye. I welcome you, traveler, to our camp, but I'm afraid I can offer you but poor shelter within these rickety walls. You see, our ancient sisterhood has fallen under a strange curse. The mighty citadel, from which we have guarded the gates to the east for generations, has been corrupted by the evil demoness Andariel. I still can't believe it, but she turned many of our sister rogues against us and drove us from our ancestral home. Now the last defenders of the sisterhood are either dead or scattered throughout the wilderness. I implore you, stranger, please help us. Find a way to lift this terrible curse, and we will pledge our loyalty to you for all time.
That's how you exposition. That's how you exposit at an audience. Games used to just be built different.
This is the story of the Den of Evil and the quest's original appearance in Diablo 2, which was...
I actually really like how, as he starts the video, as he starts narrating, you had the subscribe, the hit the bell icon, and you have all his socials. That is such a very minimalistic way of doing it, and I appreciate it. That's awesome.
Was the first quest in the game and can be activated by talking to Akara in the rogue encampment, to which he says,
"There is a place of great evil in the wilderness. Kasha's rogue scouts have informed me that a cave nearby is filled with shadowy creatures and horrors from beyond the grave. I fear that these creatures are massing for an attack against our encampment. If you are sincere about helping us, find the dark labyrinth and destroy the foul beasts. May the Great Eye watch over you."
An arrival to this rogue encampment. Whatever foul forces are resurrecting these shadowy creatures for an imminent attack on the encampment, one thing is for certain: we better make haste.
This is definitely going to be weird to boost in post, because he's actually doing, like, his audio is right on there. I'd be very curious to know if he's hitting... I'm sure there'd be a way I could test this very easily. I wonder if he's hitting... Well, because I dampen it, so I actually dampen my audio a little bit, so the source audio, and then I have my audios a little bit higher to kind of get a certain audio level effect. But his audio right out the gate is very... It's got to be bordering on that 14 decibels, right? Which YouTube is kind of at. Like, that's kind of their thing. If you go above it, they'll actually dampen your audio for you. Just background audio things. I'm by no means an audio engineer, but, like, as somebody who's had to kind of learn a little bit about it, and had somebody explain, yeah, this is kind of what it's like. He's got to be, I mean, he's definitely within that 14 to 16 range. I wonder if he's actually bordering on that 14, though. Like, very, very good audio in this one.
Initiating the quest, we think it best to talk to the other denizens and rogues scattered about. We first head to Chazi, the blacksmith, who says,
"The beasts from the cave have begun to roam throughout the countryside. You'd better be careful out there."
Blast! It seems we are too late, and whatever evil that lie in the cave has now spilled forth into the adjacent countryside. Heading over to the merchant Geed to chat and spy his supplies, he says,
"You're a brave soul. I'd sooner thrust my sacred scepter into the foulest carbuncular troll than set one boot into that cave."
Come again? Call me crazy, but I think Geed's thrusting of his sacred scepter into a carbuncular troll is a double entendre. As a holy paladin, I'm not going to touch that one with a 10-inch pole.
He had me till the last quarter. I love it. It's so good. I like it. It's liking how because I watched the big compilation of this. We're gonna get into a little bit later. The big compilation on his channel and stuff. But like this, I've never actually played Diablo 2 until I saw it was watching background noise, right? Watched his big thing, and I mentioned it in my playthrough over on the VOD channel. it's very interesting to see how he presents the story and is able to annotate and kind of commentate on certain things. Like, it could very easily have been just a clip of showing, and we went over to Geed, and then Geed said a thing, and then you walk away to the next one. But the fact that it flows together very well, it's very cool as a storytelling device.
Momentary confusion aside and shaking our head in disbelief, we make our way over to the rogue Kasia, who says,
"Welcome, Outlander, to our glorious hovel. I know you're here to challenge the evil that's driven us from our ancestral home. But know this, Akara may be our spiritual leader, but I command the rogues in battle. It will take more than just killing a few beasts in the wilderness to earn my trust. The demons in that cave have claimed many of my finest archers. I wonder how you will fare."
This is tragic to know that she has lost her people to the demons outside of the encampment, and we should ready ourselves to find her kin slain in this quest.
I really like that it allows the ability to also expand and exposit on certain things, right? So, like, you can look at Akasha, right, and be like, oh, well, bland, boring female character, bland, boring girl boss, right? You could insinuate a number of things from that, right? But it allows you to exposit, like, well, we're just an outsider here, and no doubt she's lost a lot of rogues, very skilled rogues, under her command. Thus allowing you to subtly explain why a character would act in a certain way, or even, as we saw with Geed, be able to have like a jab at it. When you look at this less as a kind of review, and what it is it's a storytelling, it's Diablo lore, but it's not in the same way as like the Age of Fire, right? Like body status, right? It's a little different. Did I actually unironically say status instead of status? Oh my god, please, Kip, please. It's English, you can speak it. But I'm totally detracting and ruining this piece. I'm so sorry about that, Dark Lord Ash. But I'm trying to explain, like, there's a lot of ways that you can do content like this. And a lot of natural breaks in conversation, right? So much in the same way that reacting to something, right? Akasha speaking, Dark Lore speaking, and then I'm able to commentate on that, right? Much in the same way that I can do that, find natural breaks like a conversation, he's able to find conversational bits, ending in Akasha and then having a response as the player character, as the narrator, the commentator, if you were. I think that this works very well as a format.
Just before we head out of the encampment, we swing past Warrior for some final words of wisdom.
"One who seeks that cave seeks death."
With that
Nice.
grim assessment, it looks like we are left to seek death and head out into the Bloodmoor.
One thing that I didn't actually know until playing this game is that it's all procedurally generated. I've never played Diablo 2. Someone mentioned earlier, have you played this or what's your go-to class? I mean, I'm Paladin. When I've never played Diablo 2 before. I remember watching the old, no longer up on YouTube. Well, it is technically up on YouTube, but not under his name. The old completionist video on Diablo. And I've just never had the friend group that's really played Diablo, or the people that have. I mean, they already have their group. So over on the VOD channel, because in a Kip TV, like I have like, we're up to Loot Go Lane, right? We are about to finish Act 2, go to Act 3. We're playing Paladin. I've never played it before watching the big compilation. And absolutely people, Necromancer I see in chat, Barbarian for the win, spin. I think Sorceress is the best for Bale runs. I think. Yeah, that sounds about right, because you're able to warp over to Bale once you enter the instance and then pull everyone else in, right? There's a metagame to this game. I was someone who looks at this and wants to do Ubers one day, who wants to help even new players like me who've never played Diablo, right? He has directly inspired me to play Diablo. But I digress. Very interesting that there's multiple ways, a lot of replayability, a game that focuses on replayability, and that's why I've always liked games like Resident Evil and even Dead Space. Like, you could just have that New Game Plus feature. Like, this is a game, quite literally, that really just understanding where Blizzard is nowadays and going back to play this. I understand why people are pissed off. Let's put it that way.
Cleanse this wilderness.
The monsters in the Bloodmoor area are all generally weak and or non-aggressive, with only a smattering of fallen, quill, and zombies meandering about. It's not long until we spy what can only be the entrance to the accursed cave itself. A fallen victim lie next to the cave, splayed out as if they were felled fleeing for their lives. The cave entrance itself adorned with crude demonic artwork. What appears to be the horned skull of a demon on the left and a large green demon on the right, gleefully emitting some kind of lightning charge spell at potential victims or zombie undead with a...
I mean, remember how old this game is on PC. This is... When was this on PC? When was Diablo 2? Actually, I need to look this up. Because, I mean, this is not like, this was definitely before Windows Millennium, right? Like, this is like, 95 status? What I'm trying to get across is, think about, like, how old this game is. And how, despite this game's age, it's still able... It's 2001, thank you. It's still able to portray finite and minute details about, the skull and the demon with the lightning ball around it, right? Like, it's able to, from a Baldur's Gate 1 kind of thing, right? Like, good God, it's fantastic. Like, the font in itself, I think Diablo 1, from what I saw from his big compilation, I think that it leaned a little too heavy into certain things, especially with all the text. I don't know, the text in that game kind of got to me a little bit, but it was very interesting to see how they really went forward with Diablo 2, what they improved upon. And this definitely, this is an industry changer. So... It's all the little things. I've talked about Helldivers, how you have the skull on your boot, right? The little things in game make the difference, and this shows a level of care and passion and just artistic freedom that we don't see in AAA and quadruple A games nowadays.
Pause to gather ourselves. We head inside and remark,
Evil dwells within this cave.
The cave is noticeably dark. Something is wrong here.
Dank even.
It's home to a myriad of enemies, notably fallen shaman, zombies, and gargantuan beasts.
Is this the Blizzard, the modern day Blizzard gamer cave? Is this where they're making the new Diablo 4 expansions? Is Activision Blizzard HQ just the Den of Evil? Oh, whoa!
This early in the game, when our defenses are still low and life is also low, it is better to be prepared. Remembering to attack shamans first before attacking their minions, as although shamans do not appear outside in the first area, we learn quickly they can deftly resurrect their fallen minions.
It's really
After
funny.
clearing much of the cave, we happen upon a particularly foul undead, a zombie named Corpsefire, located in the cave, and usually at the opposite end of the entrance. Corpsefire is a super unique zombie guarding the Den of Evil. He's the first super unique of the game, and as such, will always drop 2 items of magical quality or above.
I really like the unique and super unique system. Like, I don't know too much about it. I'm definitely not well versed in this game, right? Not well versed enough to make my own build. I know, what was it, the completionist, Gerard Khalil? I think he notoriously goes double shield paladin build for some specific purpose. I don't know enough about it. But like, I mean, it's wild to see. I think I was going with Smite Paladin specifically because it actually does really well against like soloing Ubers and stuff. Not so good for for a lot of things, but if you want to solo Ubers, I hear you do worse than a Smite Paladin. But the super unique system, being able to just like have enemies like Corpsefire, and there's other enemies throughout that are like these super unique enemies. I like the system. Can you imagine if it wasn't under video game patent, a super unique system that could generate things, generate enemies, like variations of enemies? So instead of Corpsefire, let's say you have like Hellfire, right? You have variation of that, and then hear me out. Then you throw that with something like the Nemesis system, right? If I've been notoriously against video game patents. Let's put it that way. I hate patenting mechanics. But do you see how that could be revolutionary for the industry? Like, maybe even throw that in like an Elder Scrolls 4 type thing, wink, wink, right? You throw a unique, super unique system into the Nemesis system, and then you could even, it could work in something like Diablo, or it could be like a tile-based one, or you could throw it in something like, an Elder Scrolls style RPG system. Do you think that could be revolutionary in its own right? But it will never happen, or at least it won't happen for a while, because video game patents, specifically mechanic patents, in my opinion, are a scourge on the industry. But that's me personally. I think Diablo 4 could go well with that. Diablo 5 even.
He can be considered a little mini-boss, as he is likely the first super unique a player encounters when starting out with Diablo 2. After felling the foul foe and identifying our items and bounty, although the quest is nearly complete, we portal back to town.
His inventory is throwing me off because there's no town or there's no town. Oh my god, there's no town. Kip, please. There's no tome of identify, and there's no tome of town portal, because the books that you keep in there, just because you get a bunch of these scrolls. But then again, he's also someone who's played this game way more than I have. I mean, I would generate a new character if I were to actually generate my necromancer, which I want to at some point. Like, it throws me off because I like this inventory system. I think that it works, especially when you get to the Herodric Cube, right? I think that it just works in terms of like balancing things and how certain objects, like you want smaller charms with better effects for better inventory management to hold better things and pick up more loot, right? Like its simplicity is also its complexity, and I love it.
The reason being is, unlike Diablo 1, Diablo 2 boasts early return dialogue for all characters in its quests, which, as a story retelling of the game, we shall take full advantage of. Speaking to Akara early, she says,
Your task is not complete until you have killed all the demons in that cave.
Akara, pragmatic in her response, we're left to see Chazi, who replies,
You haven't cleared the cave yet? Do you need anything?
Chazi
I think somebody said in the VODs we were doing, Charzy was definitely an awakening, quote unquote, if you will, for many people.
He seems more ready to aid us than Akara, but what does Geed have to say?
Oh, you are right. It is literally the first dungeon, so it could also be a money thing. But then again, I'm also super noob at this game, right? He clearly has experience, enough so that he is, in my opinion, a leading Diablo lore channel, has a leading Diablo lore series on YouTube. Like, I very greatly enjoy the longer ones.
Nothing about his scepter, I hope.
Demons still befouling that cave, huh? I think you might need a new weapon.
These return dialogue options, I'm sorry, I'm pausing a lot during this. These early return dialogues actually are super cool because it actually reminds me of Majora's Mask in a way, right? So what I mean by that is Majora's Mask functions off of a 3-day time cycle, right? And you know what the NPCs are doing at every point, right? Like, oh, well, if I go to Anju in the morning and I say I have a reservation, she's gonna be like, oh, well, no, that's not a thing, right? And it locks you out of that, right? Versus if you wait for Anju to go to lunch on the first day and she comes back, and maybe even after meeting the postman, as long as you're there before, I think it's 4 p.m. on the first day, she'll be like, oh, do you have a reservation? Oh, hey, cool, you have a Clocktown reservation here at Stockpot Inn. Cool, here's the knife chamber key, right? Like, you know what these NPCs are going to be doing, but it gives the illusion of a growing, organic, and evolving world, right? Just because you know that, Geed's going to have, or really anyone else is going to have early return dialogue, right? Awesome, cool. You know what the event flags are. You know the progression of it, but it gives you the player the illusion, right? Of it being a growing, evolving world, right? Hey, you went to the Den of Evil and you came back, and oh well, think you might need a new weapon, right? I think things like this, it's the little things that showcase, once again, that this is just a superior product to games we have nowadays, right? And I think that, as much as I've tried playing Path of Exile, I hear Path of Exile is very Diablo 2-esque. Look, I play Elite Dangerous. I have time sinks. Oh, sorry, model's gone. There's time sinks that I have, and I regret and lament that I can't play games like Path of Exile. It's the little things that really lead to such a cool world. The gaming literally used to be doing more with far less.
Ever the salesman, Geed, keeping it clean, but what about Kasha?
You'd better come through on this. Your reputation depends on it.
Kasha blatantly lets us know our reputation depends on completing this task. Whereas Wariv said,
One who hesitates does so with good reason.
Yeah.
Wisdom intact and honestly mood lightened just a little, we head back into the stinking pit of evil once more. Nearing the end of the quest itself will begin to update on how many monsters are left within the den, and it's clear that we have to rid it of all of its demonic taint.
I actually didn't even know it updated. I totally just wandered around here until it finished. I didn't know it actually updated.
Before we are done. Once all the monsters have been cleared, the den will be flooded with a welcome light, and we remark to ourselves,
My duty here is done.
As the cave is now expunged of demonic taint, we're now able to claim our reward from Akara. Akara will grant you the boon of 1 free skill point and 1 free character skill / stat. Upon completion, she also says,
You have cleansed the den of evil. You've earned my trust, and may yet restore my faith in humanity. Your reward is training in the skill of your choice.
An invaluable reward, and her trust is equally welcome. So we speak to the other camp inhabitants. It seems, with previous attempts falling short and the poor slain rogues, Akara was right to worry about us.
You are truly brave and skillful. Akara was worried about you.
I do like that it almost feels like it's written by like a paper, right? Introductory paragraph, 1, 2, 3, right? Supporting evidence 1, 2, 3, and then your conclusion paragraph, right? Like, and that's the thing. It's not just the script, right? It's the fact that the game is structured this way, right? You can structure it almost around kind of like a modular quest system, right? Where you can do, you know, your Den of Evil, and then you can do, you know, I guess you could do Countess next if you really wanted to, right? But you can, you know, oh, cool, we're going to go in for this quest today. You have your introductory dialogue, and then you're able to go and you do the thing, and maybe you're there, but maybe you need to port back over. Like, the gameplay loop is great. Like, it's not just a paper in like this script being written, but it's a paper as long as you want your play session to last. Whether you're like me and made it, you know, all the way through Act 1 and part of Act 2 in a single stream, or whether you're doing it something like this where it's like, okay, cool, we're gonna sit down, we're gonna record Act 1, Quest 1, and then it's set up very well. Like, the gameplay loop is here.
Reed, on the other hand, remarks,
The only good demon is a dead one, I say. By the way, did you happen to find anything in that cave you'd like to sell?
He is right, honestly, about demons, and there's nothing wrong with a shiny new sword for your inventory. Though I'm staying away from his scepters. With that, we pass Warriv, who states wryly,
That which does not kill you makes you stronger.
and it is true, this is a great introductory quest to cut our teeth on, and hopefully the start of many more in the series, as I plan to cover Diablo 2 in its entirety in this storytelling style. So make sure to subscribe to stay up to date with upcoming lore videos out weekdays at 7 PM PST. And if you want to further the conversation with myself, my social accounts are linked on screen, and I would love to chat, as building community is very important. We also have a new Discord to celebrate lore, and we'll be running a Diablo 4 guild in which all are welcome. But as always, thanks for watching, and until next time, Traveler.
I actually do need to check him out on other socials. I do. Isn't there auto loop?
Death has done nothing to weaken blood.
That goes into the second one. Isn't there auto loot Resurrected? I think in D2 Resurrected there's auto loot, but there is a whole playlist here. I think there might be a missing thumbnail with number 6 here. The Indariel Maiden. I think there might be one there. But down this, first of all, down in the description down below, if you are curious about this episode, I will be linking that. As well as his original channel, Dark Lore Dash over here. I will be linking that in the description down below for your convenience. And I wanted to just say thank you, Dark Lore Dash, for being such an awesome YouTuber, for doing something that I feel that just isn't really supported enough, like 40k views, right? But if we go over to the actual Dark Lore Dash channel, and we were to go to, say, you know, videos on Diablo, he has Legacy of Kain as well, Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, so he's got a variety of content. I think he really has a cool thing going on for him. But the Diablo videos, I'm sorry, I'm trying to find them. Diablo 1 and 2, he does have the complete Hellfire edit right here, which I think needs a lot more eyes on it. Hellfire is interesting, like, good God. Diablo 1's full story, Diablo 2's full story, done in the same format, right? Kind of releases episodically, and at the end, it's the YouTube format where you release a big project. Honestly, I absolutely loved every Diablo video. I have watched them, but I don't remember all the context. That's something that if for some reason people do want me to react to, and people are fine, and he's fine with me reacting to it, I'd be more than happy to it. But the reason why I wanted to do this, really, was because he's just such a cool dude. Like, I had never played Diablo 2 before watching his video. I've never played Diablo. I mean, sure, it's been adjacent. I know my dad had a copy of Diablo, but I'd never really engaged with the medium. I'd never known why it was good until I personally picked it up after watching his stuff and started playing it. And now, you know, it's like I know of things like Ubers. I know, like, what is it? Countess runs are good for certain things. I think it was early charms, if I remember correctly. You do have Mephisto runs. Those are going to get you... No, those Mephisto runs are the charms, right? There's things that I know about the game now, at least in a vague capacity, that, you know, I think it's... I see why it's so good. I see all of just what made... You know, what put Blizzard on the map for people. They were just leaders in the industry, and it makes me sad to see where they're at. And so he does go into Diablo 4 Vessel of Hatred. It just doesn't spark his passion in the same way. And I totally get it. And there's a specific thing here. I'm gonna pull an old YouTube moment here for you. How many of you remember the old Star Wars channel, Dash Star? Right. Probably like one person there is actually going to remember who Dash Star was. This is apparently the same person. And it's really cool just to see down the line that somebody who I loved back in the day, somebody whose content I had watched, I'm like, God, he puts out some quality stuff, right? To see what they're working on in modernity. And it's just super cool. And also they outlined in this video, which I did watch, awesome video, that it just doesn't stoke passion in the same way as Diablo 2. So what I wanted to do with this, the primary goal of this, right? This is probably like 200 views, if that, right? Consider it part of Spooky Month, right? Spooktober here on the Kip Reacts channel. But more so, this wasn't to start a grand series on reacting to the entirety of Diablo 2. I think that he has, enough videos on the subject. I think that I really couldn't add anything transformative enough to it, or anything of value, in my opinion, that you would not be able to get from his videos. I wanted this to be an appreciation piece for someone who I think is super legit, somebody whose content I've loved for a number of years, somebody who still looks forward to, what content they have. Legacy of Kain, don't really know enough about it, not really my thing. But that being said, right, if I react to something and it's not your thing, totally makes sense, right? Who looks forward to really cool videos like this. I just wanted to do what I could from my small part of the internet to send what support I could. Like 165,000 subscribers. I know he's got the ability to be 1 million up in there. And I wanted to do what I could with my little corner of the internet. So thank you for watching. What is your preferred class in Diablo 2? What is your preferred playstyle in Diablo 2? Your subsection. Are you a Smite Paladin? Are you a Necromancer that focuses on something specific? Did this rekindle your love of Diablo? I know there are people who did buy Diablo 2 Resurrected because I started playing it on stream. I'm aware of I'm aware of the power influencers have because of that. People bought Activision Blizzard product because I was playing it. So I'm sorry to the people who bought it because of that. And that being said, is Diablo something that's on your list? I know me personally, I need to get back to it. I promised the Discord we would have some Diablo 2 nights just to grind some stuff out. But thank you all for watching. I really do appreciate this. This was one of those that was less an upload focused on metrics and more an upload focused on just trying to be positive, to bring attention to a creator who I think is really worth it, and who I want to see really succeed because they're very passionate about what they do. So thank you. Thank you, Dark Lord Ash, for being just super legit. And thank you, everyone, for watching. And I'll see you in the next one.